at the corner of Russell and Albina, just about a block from Mississippi Avenue. I'll take you to a house where they hang carpets on the wall, and if we go there on a Sunday, there's a song I'll take you through.
And a pleasant good evening and welcome to Open Mic America. Open Mic America is a showcase that supports the open mics all across the nation. The folks that play on this show are the high-level players that play on those shows. And we like to think that this is the beating heart of American music, without gimmicks and frills. This is the real deal. These folks are the real deal. So I'm going to introduce our players now, and if you don't mind, wave when I call your name. We have Vernon Tonjes, also known as Spoo Willoughby. Hi there, Vernon. From Detroit, Michigan, John Loretz from Burlington, Massachusetts. The Hewitt Family Band from Brookhaven, Mississippi. Ron Smith from Jefferson City, Missouri. Bill Hernandez from Portland, Oregon. Mike Simpson from Saratoga, California. And Mike is staff with Open Mic America, and he's going to do the interviewing tonight very kindly. Glenn Merschel from Monroe, North Carolina. Good to see you, Glenn. Matt Meehan, he's right here in Portland too. Hey, Matt. And we also have Rigo Rodriguez and Rodman King from Amherst, Massachusetts. And also joining us is Patrick Henry, and he is a ghost host tonight. He's hanging out with us. He's joining our staff, and he's just hanging out to see what gives on this show. So we're going to get the thing going right away. Without further ado, let's get Vernon Tonjes up on stage. I'm going to unmute you. Where are you at there? Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. Okay, let's hear what you got.
This is a song I wrote. It's kind of a love song. I don't write a lot of love songs. People don't want to hear about love from me. Oh, okay. The primrose path we walk, serene, abounds with pitfalls, unforeseen. In any shadow there may lurk a thief or brigand gone berserk. In spite of tidings grave or grim that may imperil life or limb, and though these sentiments seem trite, my steps and spirits remain light. Blown up, eaten by dogs, impaled on a pike or mutilated, I'm fine, long as you're mine. I never worry how we're fated. Bludgeoned, abducted by spies, or julienned by alligators. It's a cinch, I won't even flinch. I never worry how we're fated. I care not a smidgen, if they poison us like pigeons I'll knock. If we face our fate together, bled like a pig on a hook, or meteorite disintegrate us, I'll hold your hand while I can. Never worry how we're fated.
That's very nice. Very nice.
Do I have room for another? Yeah, I'll just do this. This is a song I wrote. It's a different kind of love song. It's a serenade. You know, when you got your guitar, you're under someone's balcony. In those days, falling in love was like, you know, Mussolini. You had to find a balcony. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Awaken melancholy maid, hearken to my serenade. Each note that I unloose, every thunderbolt from Zeus snares your heart into my noose. Before the morning dew is spray, let me fire this fusillade. Awaken melancholy maid, don't let this bounty go a-wasted. Don't let these lips languish untasted. I'll never call thee penny-wasted. Let me throw my song grenade, and now the stars begin to fade. Lights glimmer on the promenade. Obey your ragged renegade. Awaken melancholy. Awaken melancholy maid, hearken to my serenade. Each note that stirs the air betrays my manifest despair, lays my base intentions bare. Before the morning dew is sprayed, let me ponder this in Cupid's careless game of darts. He threw a wild one in the dark, struck my fibrillate. The moment calls for exultation, no need for mundane conversation. Don't thwart this passion with frustration. Let me throw this song grenade, and on the stars begin to fade. Lights glimmer on the promenade. Obey your ragged renegade. Awaken melancholy.
a lot of fun.
Wonderful. What do you think, Mike?
Well, I think that I am glad I did some research on Vernon Tongas. His name came to me as Spoo Willoughby, but we're going to go with Vernon, I guess, right, for the moment. You know, there were others too, all very inventive. I read a couple of reviews, Vernon, and one of them had a line in it that I was waiting in hope that it would be fulfilled, and it certainly was. Tongas has long been the most vibrant and maniacal performer in a scene full of vibrant maniacs. And boy, I think Justin Hayward from Chicago Reader, I think he got it right there. And then there was another one by Emily Cates. Is Emily Cates? Do you know her? She a friend?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because she just seemed to celebrate and make your language seem like it was kind of contagious. She sort of adopted your style in the review. It was fun. So
That was
both of those songs. Tell us a little bit about their birth. You know, where do they come from?
What did I put? Oh, I listened to a lot of music from like the 40s and 30s, and they always have like a little intro before the song starts. So you have to sing this song before the song, and then
Right.
they just started like throwing them away and going right to the song. But I
Yeah,
wanted
that's
to
right. It's
make
called
my
a
own
verse.
intro.
Yeah.
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 I wanted to make my own intro.
Yeah, that was well done. I do the same thing sometimes. I'm very fond of those verses. Um, the first time I ever heard any of your music, I heard it under the name Spoo from a busker in Santa Cruz, California, who was playing it out on the street. A song called Antonia, Antonia.
Antonia. Yeah, that's a Michael Hurley song.
Oh, is it? That one's not yours? I wondered because it's.
Hey, look, I got a Michael Hurley T-shirt.
There you go. There you go. All right.
Oh, I'm on his. They have like a tribute album, and they took one of my song versions of his songs.
All right. Well, very good. And I do want to point out how much I found in both songs, but particularly in the first, that the chording that you use, the chordal movement you're playing on the guitar, is a really good match for those snapping lyrics that you write there. You know, I think it's very cool. I really enjoyed hearing you. I hope this is your first time here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope it won't be your last. I hope we'll have you back.
Oh yeah, I just retired. I was working Sunday nights.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. And like I say, I hope we see you again. Dave, back to
Always
you.
around.
Thanks, Vernon. That was great. I removed all spotlights. Wait a minute here. Thank you, Vernon. Okay, next up, we have John Loretz from Burlington, Massachusetts. John, I'm going to unmute you. Let's hear
Okay.
you.
Glad to be here. So this first song that I'm going to do is one that I wrote. It's called Some Other Bus Stop, and when we come back to talk about it, I'll explain where it came from and why it's called that. Like some silent lover who served you from over the counter, who sold you some trinkets, maybe a matchbox and candles, who stood at the window as you slipped through the crowd without caution. I have given my heart to you once, and maybe more often. Like any kind lover who never spoke over a whisper, but who thought that you heard him, or at least that you knew his intentions. From a glance or a touch, or the way that I held the door open, I have followed you out more than once, but only so often. There's a war in the streets, and it's spilled into every dark corner. So you sidestep your way to a bus stop that's calm, though it's crowded. And your bus pulls away just ahead of the suicide bomber. You will hear on the TV tonight that it's happening more often. Now you croon to the cats as you sift through old black and white photos. And the evening is peaceful, or maybe it's only too quiet. As you huddle by candlelight, pinching the wax as it softens. I am pacing the pavement outside and will come here more often. Like some silent lover who could never be too close too often.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you. So this next one goes back to the end of the 19th century. It's kind of a pre-blues American standard. And it was done by a number of people, including Ethel Waters. But the version I learned was from Mississippi John Hurt, who recorded it back in 1925, I think. And it's called Make Me a Pallet on Your Floor. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Make me a pallet down soft and low. Make me a pallet on your floor. Make me down. Make me down. Make me a pallet down soft and low. Make me a pallet on your floor. Up the country, with the cold, sleet, and snow. Up the country, with the cold, sleet, and snow. I'm going up the country with the cold, sleet, and snow. No telling how far I'm gonna go. Make me down. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Make me a pallet down soft and low. Make me a pallet on your floor. Way I'm sleeping, my back and shoulders tired. Way I'm sleeping, my back and shoulders tired. The way I'm sleeping, my back and shoulders tired. Gonna turn around and try it on the side. Make me down. make me down, make me a pallet, down soft and low, make me a pallet on your floor. My good gal has left me all alone. My good gal has left me all alone. Good gal has left me standing on my own. Don't know if she's ever coming home. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Make me a pallet down soft and low. Make me a pallet on your floor.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, very nice, John. As I do with everybody that I can, I looked up, some of your stuff, and as it happened, the song that I mostly focused on looking at on your website was, in fact, Bus Stop, and so my notes are about that song, and it's lovely that you happen to play it. That's an evocative song. That's a charming song. I wonder, when you're writing, do you sort of generate or kind of get tired to the images first and then to what? To lyric, melody, whatever?
Well, okay, first of all, I've written that one song. And I can tell you exactly how it happened. And then maybe you can tell me what that means. I had been listening, I love the song Bus Stop by the Hollies. I've been listening to it, and I was actually thinking about working up an instrumental arrangement of that song, which I haven't gotten to yet. But I was then thinking, well, what if that song were brought into now, into our time, and the same sort of circumstances, there would be a bus stop and sort of a couple, but it would be a different story, two different people, a different story. And I thought about the line in that song, where she goes shopping and shows me what she bought. So I thought I'll put her in the shop, and the song will be sort of from the point of view of the shopkeeper. And so, he's got this relationship in his head with her. It's not really stalking. It's too innocent for that, and too sort of gentle for that. But he does sort of look out the window, follows her out as she leaves, and she heads to the bus stop. And then I'm thinking, well, something dark is going to happen, because we're talking about today, and this is going to be a darker song. But I didn't really know what was going to happen. And she gets to the bus stop, and all of a sudden this suicide bomber appears. I don't know where the suicide bomber came from, but there he was. And now this guy, the shopkeeper, has to go back and sort of try to protect her in some way from this world if he can. The song, so that's the lyrics. That's where the lyrics came from. The melody, I had been noodling around with some stuff in the key of C, some harmonized sixth, and that's where the intro came from. And it fell into 3/4 time. It was not a conscious decision to put it into 3/4 time, but it just kind of fell into that. And then you get to the end, and for people of a certain generation, you'll recognize that tag at the end as the bridge from Bus Stop, the Holly song. So that's a sort of long way of saying that this song, I didn't write this song. This song decided to get written, and it told me what to do.
They do that sometimes. Yeah.
And it hasn't happened again. It hasn't happened again yet, but it might.
Yeah. Well, I know that I almost always write something after I've listened to one of these Open Mic America sessions. I at least get a hook out of it, somewhere. So keep doing that, and it's great to hear you. That I had a question about your lovely fingerstyle and how was it derived, but now that I hear that you play Mississippi John Hurt and that kind of thing, I have something of a sense of where you get that good drop thumb technique and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I like the way you took that the bus stop bridge and made it sound like a lute like ending, on the piece. That was very nice.
Right.
I copped to where you got that from, and it is really, really, really nice. Hey, I got a question for you.
Well, that was the other thing. I threw that into a minor key.
Yeah, you made it minor, right? Which, since the lutes have the B is flat and they play naturally in G minor, that's that's kind of
Yeah.
like to do that. Yeah. So I noted it on your website that you say your album is largely sourced from songwriter friends. And do you have like a circle that you work with of songwriter friends?
There's a few. There's a couple of songs I've done from songwriters who have been friends of mine for a very long time. A lot of them are from people I've met in the open mic community, a lot of the virtual open mics that we do. I mean, that goes back as far as friends from the 1980s all the way up to people I've met in the last few years.
All right. Well, very good. This is this? I don't think this is your first time, right? You've been on open
Yeah, this
mic
is my
America.
first time here. Yeah.
Oh, it's your first time
No,
here.
first time.
Well, thank you
But you
for
know my wife, Ann Sandstrom.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for
Yeah,
doing.
she's been on several times.
Doing the thing that I know Dave is very fond of, what he calls the heritage songs written before 1925 that are written by the people that we can play on Open Mic America, as well as your original. Very nice to have you, and I hope that you'll come again and say hello to Ann for me.
I will. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So much, John. Thank you. That was great. Now, next up is going to be the Hewitt Family Band, and they are veterans of Open Mic America. Where are you guys? I'm looking. There you are over there. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to add the spotlight. Okay, and I'm going to unmute you. If I ever find the... Why can't I see this? Okay. You're unmuted. Okay, you should be ready to go.
Well, in the spirit of building up the anticipation for the Jimmy Buffett song, I'm going to perform first. And normally we do together, but I'm going to play my little, special machine, and we can talk about that later if y'all want to. But this is almost one of the very first songs I wrote, and it is the song that prompted us to begin performing together. And I don't know how, since this is an all-male audience, or group, not audience, but the group that are participating today, how pertinent you will find it or if you'll appreciate it, because this is a little song about menopause, with which some of you gentlemen may be familiar if you have wives about my age. So here, but it's a light-hearted look at it. Here we go. I got that red clay in my veins. I got my unique double first name. I got my sweet tea addiction. I know Faulkner didn't really write fiction. It's so hard, what a bummer, here in the deep, deep South. You know, these dog days of summer, they got me down in the mouth. I'm wanting some watermelon and shade tree, looking for lightning bugs after sunset. Seems like Mother Nature's against me. All those chiggers, stickers, and poison oak, damn it! Sweat streaming down my face. Tell you, these dog days got me dreaming of living in a colder place. Well, I got my fried okra cooking. I got my homegrown tomato sliced. My love tells me I'm so good looking, he don't even have to think twice. But it is so hot, baby, humidity's just out of sight. It's got me wondering if baby dog days gonna turn into doggone night. I'm fighting skeeters big as my fist, trying to cool off with my funeral fan. It's been so long since I've been kissed, I don't even know if I still can. but I would not trade this place, not for a palace of gold. I'll look you straight in the face and swear this heat's gone to my ever-loving soul. So if you want to stay real cool, let me tell you what to do. If there's any way you can, marry an air conditioner repairman. Laws and mercy, what's a girl to do? I feel like somebody's cursed me. Help me make it through these dark days blues.
Can you dance?
That made everybody smile.
It made me smile. Woke up that Tuesday morning, I think it was the 3rd or 4th, and saw on Facebook, as I do every morning, I look on Facebook, and it had R.I.P. Jimmy Buffett. And I said, that can't be right, because he was just canceled one show, and he'd been on Facebook singing in a little club or two, but sure enough, he died, and this just came out, because Jimmy Buffett died last night. Jimmy Buffett died last night. Everybody is sad. He left us all behind. Sailors and parrot heads. He found that one particular harbor where he loved to stay. Jimmy Buffett died last night. Now he's sailing away. He left us with so many songs we could sing for days and days. Songs about boats, songs about life, songs about sailing away. He sang about going to Paris and Carmen with her hat piled so high. Now Jimmy Buffett is sailing away. Jimmy Buffett has died. The world will be a little sadder, 'cause we all lost a friend. So bow our heads and say a prayer down in Margarita land. The time may come when we'll look back and think maybe Jimmy was right. Mangoes and sandals and a good song can get you through the night. So mother, mother ocean, you won't see his likes again. Mother, mother ocean, come Monday he'll be sailing in. So Jimmy Buffett died last night. Everybody is sad. He left us all behind. Sailors and parrot heads. He found that one particular harbor where he loved to stay. Jimmy Buffett died last night. Now he's sailing away. Yes, Jimmy Buffett is sailing away, and he died last night. Yes, Jimmy Buffett died last night. Now he's sailing away. That's it.
That's nice, very nice tribute.
Yes, indeed. Very nice tribute indeed. All right. Well, we've been here doing this before, haven't we? As as Dave said, the Hewitt Family Band has been here a number of times, and it's always great to see them. So now I kind of have a floor under your music. I'm familiar with it. One of the things that, to a great extent, that moves me about what you do is the stories in everything that you do. Even in a humorous song like Libby did, it's a story about living in the South in the heat, and well told. It's cute, it's appealing, and all that, but it's kind of deadly serious, particularly when you talk about the mosquitoes the size of your fist.
Oh, yeah. And all of y'all live in cooler climates, but down here we call August and early September dog days because it's just too hot for a dog to even be outside in the heat.
Right. Yeah, so I was looking through some of your stuff that was online, and I was looking at the story song. Charlie, I particularly was struck by the wonderful story structure in Girl from Ohio. You have to do that here sometime.
Oh, well, until the Jimmy Buffett thing came up, I was going to do that one.
Yeah.
That's an absolutely true story, though.
Well, it had that feeling. It had that ring of real, that they have. Your guys' form and your style is country, southern, mostly, but you move well. You move really well inside that. And I definitely hear gospel in what you do. Is that mostly Libby's influence, or is that both of you?
We've both been raised with that, hearing that, and going to church every Sunday. So that's a mutual
And
thing.
we've started singing in churches a lot lately. The one we go to, we try to sing once a month or 6
yeah.
weeks. And the last little LP we did, we had 3 church songs, original church songs, and we just finished one this week, and I think it had 2 on there. So
Yeah, but I have to watch his theology. He gets carried away sometimes.
well, it's another interpretation of the scriptures.
Yeah. Well, people thought the same thing about my boy Martin Luther. So not to mention Martin Luther King. I am always interested in people who do tribute songs. Your John Prine blues tribute song is also a very fine piece, and I really like that. I don't really so much do tributes as I do homages. I'll steal more of the style or the chording of someone that I admire. How do you feel about the responsibility that you take on when you do that?
Well, it's what I feel, so I'm responsible. I can't blame anybody else for it, and I try for it to be where I don't. It's not sacrilegious. Those are good feelings I'm trying to put out. I did one about John Prine, and I did one about Jimmy Carter. We went over there to Plains, Georgia a few months ago, thinking he was on his way to dying, but he is hanging on, man.
Yeah.
He is hanging on.
Well,
Well,
if you survived the presidency, you must be tough, Yes. All right. Well, I have no question in my heart that we will have you back here again, and I look forward to that time. Thank you so much for graciously gifting us with your music, and until next time.
This is a
Thank
great
you.
platform
And
you give us to
we
sing.
try to tell people about this, and it is such a wonderful experience to be part of this. So thank you.
Yes. Well, I must say also, I do love the Jimmy Buffett thing on the screen behind you there. I think that's right next to Margaritaville, if I recall correctly.
I think so.
All right. Good night, and see you again sometime. Dave, back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie and Libby. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. And next up, we have Ron Smith from Jefferson City, Missouri. Let's see if I can get you unmuted and
That worked.
pinned, spotlighted. There we go, Ron. Let's see what you got tonight.
Okie dokie. I got a couple of songs that I've written recently. And first one's called I Don't Know Much, and kind of came from day when I was sitting here noodling with the guitar thinking, I should have something to impart to somebody somewhere, but I just don't know much. So that's where this song came from. I don't know much. Guess maybe I ought to know more. Gets me to wondering what I want to know more for, 'cause I haven't done all that much, but I already know I don't know much. At least that's something I know. I've seen a lot. I've been around. I've been in and I've been out. I've been up and I've been down. There isn't that much difference. No matter where you go, I don't know much. At least that's something I know. Most of what I learn, I don't learn for very long. 'Cause it ain't long till the reason that I needed it is gone, and there's no point holding on to it. Instead of letting it go, I don't know much. At least that's something I know. I don't learn for very long, 'cause it ain't long till the reason that I needed it is gone, and there's no point holding on to it. Instead of letting it go, I don't know much. At least that's something I know. I don't know much, but I do get along. There's a lot I don't remember, but my learning skills are strong, so I can pick up what I need. If there's a need to know, I don't know much. At least that's something I know. I don't know much. At least that's something I know.
All right.
My second song is called Little Bird Somewhere. I was looking through my journal stuff that I do from time to time and had this little poem written down that I thought my wife had inspired, and maybe I had stolen it from her, but I ran that by her and she said, no, that's not from me, but I still think maybe it is. Anyway, Little Bird Somewhere. Funky string there. Sorry for that. Little bird somewhere sings a bit of song, and it fills the air, but not for very long. And yet my soul is stirred, my weary spirits lift. Thank you, little bird, for that extraordinary gift. Thank you for that lovely little gift. Such a little thing, such a little bird, Who knows why it sings? Does it know I heard? Does it sing for joy or does it sing for pain? All I know is I would love to hear it sing again. I would love to hear it sing again. Quickly as it came, now it flies away. I must do the same back into my day. And so it is we part, and it shall never know. I carry in my heart that little song it did bestow. It goes with me everywhere I go. Take it with me everywhere I go.
Lovely, lovely. Okay. You know, I didn't find a big online presence for you, Ron. So I
This
didn't.
is true.
I didn't get quite the amount of information, so we're going to bounce around a little more with you here. You're from Jefferson City.
Correct.
I'm from Lawrence, Kansas.
Oh, hey.
I live in California now, but and have for a long time. But I will say this: we used to go over the edge of the Kansas River and cross into Missouri, and down there in the southwest corner of Missouri, we would go and we would buy a kind of pole. And can you guess what we were going to do with that pole? It's a Missouri state sport, I think, called frog gigging.
Oh yeah, frog gigging.
Yeah. You ever go frog gigging?
No, never have done that. Actually, I grew up out west. Although I've lived here in Missouri for about 40 years, but I grew up out in Utah and got married in Colorado. And
Okay. All right. Well, you're in Jefferson City now, the capital, right?
that's correct. Yes.
That's where you are. That's right in the middle, next to the Missouri River. I thought maybe you might have done
Yeah.
some frog gigging there, but anyway, frog legs. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about just the technique thing that is going on. You've got that lovely finger style rolling along. Can you tell me what led you to the partial capo, and what benefit do you get from it?
Oh my gosh! I'll tell you what. It's awesome. A friend of mine one time just mentioned the word. He called it a cut capo, and he asked me if I'd ever heard of one, and I hadn't, and he couldn't really explain it very well. But I went into a shop, a guitar supply shop, months later, and just asked if they'd heard of that, and they sold me one. And basically what it does is it lets you take either the if you're in regular tuning, you've got your A, D, and G. You can either take those and bar them, I guess.
Raise them a whole step, right?
Yeah, raise them a whole step. Or what I've done is I've turned it around. I do that to where what I have here now basically is an open A chord. Except I'm capoed up, so it's a B or B sharp or something. But
Right,
C-flat.
yeah. So right now you have the equivalent of an open G tuning raised to a B in the bass.
Actually, what I have is just
Or
a
F
standard tuning.
Yeah, I'm saying when you put the capo on in that A position, you basically get an open A that's the same tune
open A,
notes
yeah.
as an open G chord, yeah. And he's got that one there, and they also, some of them look like this.
Yeah, I've got one of those too.
Yeah, Shub also makes them.
Hang on a second, my sound's cutting out. in my headphones. There you go. I think I got you.
Okay, you got it. All right. Well, yeah, and very nice work with that. So, what is it that you find you can do with it that you can't do without it?
Well, one of the things is that you can. Well, one thing you get a drone string, like. So you get that, and I don't know. I've written another song that I have played here before called "Song for My Sister" that I use the same technique with. Now with the other, taking it the other direction. Oops! If I put the capo over on this one here, you get a kind of a sus chord.
Right, and sus chord, which leaves you with the same relationships on the open and capoed strings as dadgad has.
Something like it's exactly kind of a poor man's dadgad. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I play quite a few songs in that. So.
Yeah, I'm a fan as well. Yeah. All right, and who do you consider your influences, Ron?
Well, I listened to Peter, Paul, and Mary faithfully when I was a kid. I bought all their albums and played them till side B played along with side A, and really liked them a lot. I liked their harmonies. I kind of went to school on that. One of the things that, incidentally, here in the previous performer with Mississippi John Hurt, when I got out of the Army, I played a little bit in the Army, and when I got out, I wanted to take some finger picking lessons, and so this guitar teacher that I picked up, that's what he had me playing was Mississippi John Hurt stuff, and but I probably had half a dozen lessons is all I had from that. Rest I've just kind of picked up on my own. But I really, who doesn't admire Leo Kottke and
Right.
and Tommy Emmanuel and Chet Atkins and Mark Knopfler, and there's all kinds of just amazing musicians out there. So
yeah. Well, one of the things I must admit, I went to a website. I searched on what are Missouri people like, and they had a number of things that they they said Missourians are not trusting because of the weatherman, but one of the things everybody mentions is the directness, and that first song is very Missouri in that sense. It's you go right. I love it. It's clean. It cuts like a knife. It goes right to the point, and that's a really fine song. I really enjoyed that.
cool. Thank you.
All right. Well, now you've been on before.
I have a couple of times. Yep.
And I hope you're willing to come back, yes?
I'd love to. Yeah, I'm going to
right.
start trying to engineer here. So
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you're staffing too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Well, we need the engineers. I tried to do the engineering thing, and it didn't work out very well when I tried it. So
yeah, I know why.
but we get somebody from a smarter state, Missouri. And I will turn this over to Dave now. And Ron, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Wonderful stuff, Ron. Wonderful stuff. I had that Mississippi John Hurt album, that first one where he's just sitting there very serenely, the black background and everything. Listen to it over and over. That was 1970.
Yeah.
Wonderful stuff. Okay, next up is Bill Hernandez from Portland, Oregon. And I'm going to unmute you, Bill, and I'm going to put you in the spotlight. Where the heck is this thing? Here it is. Okay, go for it, Bill.
All right, thank you very much. Glad to be here. Beautiful Portland. I'm actually from New York, Levittown, Long Island, but I've been in Portland since 1990. This first song I'm going to do is something called "Counting on Tomorrow." I'm counting on tomorrow. It's never let me down before. I'm counting on tomorrow. I thought I closed that door. Don't cry, it makes me really sad. Don't sigh, it's really not that bad. You can't miss what we never had. Don't hide, it's really not your style. Hard times, they're always worth the while. In time, you won't put me on trial. Maybe we will look back on this with no remorse, and then we'll reminisce about the chances that we missed, but we didn't take. Or maybe we will defy the odds and put our hands in the gods. I'm sure they have a prayer for heartache. Maybe we will look back on this with no remorse, and then we'll reminisce about the chances that we missed, but we didn't take. Or maybe we will defy the odds and put our hands in the gods. I'm sure they have a prayer for heartache. I'm counting on tomorrow. It's never let me down before. I'm counting on tomorrow to lead you to my door, and that's all I could ever ask for.
Yeah.
This next song came out of out of desperation. I recently moved to, you guys from Portland know, I live in the Pearl. I lived in a house in the burbs for 32 years and sold my house. I learned so much, and I should have read the Selling and Buying a House for Dummies book. But anyway, I was at the point where I sold my house, and I had a month to find a place, and it was just so much pressure, and I was just not having any luck. So one night I just got on my knees and prayed, and I came up with this song. It's called A Little Mercy. Last night when I was praying, the good Lord heard what I was saying, and I didn't have to say a word, and I knew every word was heard. I was down on my knees, I was begging for a little mercy, please. I'm throwing caution to the wind, 'cause I'm so damn tired of looking at Redfin. Show me where my home should be. I'll hand you the map if you hand me the key. I was down on my knees, I was begging for a little mercy, please. A little mercy, please. Little mercy, please. A little mercy, please. A little mercy, please. A little mercy, please. A little mercy, please. washed my windows just for you, 'cause I need a life with a better view. My kids are gone and I'm all alone. The tree's still there, but the leaves are gone. I was down on my knees, I was begging for a little mercy, please. 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 I'm down on my knees, I'm begging you, please. A little mercy, please. That was fun. All right.
Yeah, very nice. So I just want to add a note here in general to everyone before I turn directly to you, Bill. When I mentioned the songs that people have and stuff, in every case, you'll be able to go on the Open Mic America website, www.openmicamerica.com, and anything that I refer to will be on the website that is there on that site. So you can track down, if I mention somebody's song and you're interested in that, you can track that down there and get to their website and stuff. So, that being said, on your website, Bill, it says, I love that music is the chronicle of our lives, and I love the ability it has to bring back memories. And boy, was that certainly true of both of those songs. I'm about ready on my knees beside you on that one. I've been close to where you were then.
I got to say, the next day after I wrote that song, I actually met a realtor that was like a blessing. And, within a month, I found this place downtown. So it was kind of like, I don't know, wrote the song, and the next thing, God came through. It was pretty cool.
That prayer thing works, huh? All right. And you recommend, again, a note that you have on your website, pursuing your goals with passion. And I'm really interested in the fact that you can have a relatively not headbanging, jumping up and down, the horns blaring, any of that kind of stuff, music, but the passion, for me, certainly really comes through. It's true in your songs. What specifically do you mean by that? Pursuing your goals pursuing things with passion. What would you look for in yourself to know that you're doing it?
Well, I have to tell you, I retired. I had a incredible, amazing 24-year career at Nike. I was a video producer. I was so blessed, I've been all around the world. I've interviewed the world's greatest athletes. But about 3.5 years ago, I had this decision. It was right before COVID hit, and I was turning 64, and I said, life is just too short, and to not pursue your passion. And I've always loved music, I didn't really play that much. I was married for 22 years, but when I got divorced 8 years ago, I started writing songs, and it was just incredibly therapeutic. I'd go on these crazy dates with women, online dating, saying, oh my God, I'm going to get a song out of this. And it just, one thing led to another. And like I said, I just think life is just way too short not to pursue your passion. And so many doors have opened up. I mean, when I retired 3 years ago, now I'm on the board of directors at this Influence Music Hall, which I know Dave knows about, and Rob Cork and Penny Cork are interviewers here, and a couple of people. Evan Acey's an engineer. Henry Kaiser's played here. Andy Joyce. We're all part of this Influence Music Hall, based in downtown Hillsborough. And pursuing my passion just opened up so many doors. I teach beginning guitar and ukulele at American Guitar Academy, and like I said, I love the community. I wrote a song saying I just want to be with people who have a song in their heart. And right now, I'm just having the time of my life.
That's great. That's great. By the way, referring to that thing where I go and listen to your songs online, the passion element in your song Amsterdam really lit up for me. Also, I absolutely adore You Don't Need an Alibi.
Thanks.
That's one of the better breakup songs I've ever heard, and it has a great hook.
Mike, I got to tell you, that song Amsterdam is a cover by a group called Guster, and I was
Oh.
doing this thing with the producer. We were doing called My Take. I was just doing takes on some of my favorite covers. But my daughter, as just kind of a hoax, she sent my song to the group Guster, and they actually put My Take on their Instagram page. And I was like, oh man, that was pretty cool.
Well, that's a win.
Yeah, that was definitely a win.
Yeah, when I look online, I don't. It doesn't always indicate whether the song. It looked like it was written by you from what I saw, but that I'm moving through pretty quickly. But anyway, a good song anyway. And by the way, your first song, their impressive rhyming skills. That was
Thank you.
that was a set piece for that. Who are you listening to now currently?
Right now, my all-time favorite is this jazz guitarist Pat Metheny. I've seen him like 15 times. I'm seeing him on November 11th. But I'm a huge Beatles fan. I mean, I had the Beatles wig when I was a kid. My daughter went to school in London. I made a point of when she graduated, I went to Abbey Road and crossed Abbey Road. I've been to the Beatles Museum. So definitely a huge Beatles fan. And growing up, I was, just child of the 60s. I do a lot of covers. Living in Wichita, I have to do Wichita linemen as part of it. And I've just always been loved music. Neil Young, James Taylor, and right now I'm so amazed by the community in downtown Hillsborough. A guy like Rob Cork, we play together. We're playing 2 gigs this week, and just hearing the songs that he and Penny write is just such an inspiration to me.
Yeah. Does Influence Music Hall have a digital performance footprint? Do they have
we have a open mic every Friday night. It's a Zoom open mic. We're kind of like international now. We've had people from Australia and India join us.
Okay.
And we have 2 places that we every Friday night for 17 years. We've always had the best open mic in town. It's all levels of talent are welcome. It's people sit. It's you perform. You get 3 songs, 15 minutes, and there's all levels of talent. Last week we had this guy do jokes for 15 minutes, and a guy, first-time harmonica player. So it's pretty cool. It's a great community.
All right. Well, I'm glad you have such a community, and it obviously is helping to support your impressive songwriting. And you've been on here before, yes?
A couple times, yeah.
A couple times, right? Yeah. And I, as I've said to everybody, and I really do mean it each time I say it. I really hope we'll have you back again soon.
Thanks. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thanks. It's great.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Dave, it's on you.
Thanks, Mike, and thank you, Bill. Wonderful performance. And now Mike Simpson, who has been doing the interviewing, is going to take a spin as performer. And he told me he's going to play a couple of his vintage arch tops, which I always enjoy hearing. So take it away, Mike. Oh yeah, I want to see that thing.
Yeah, I knew you were going to make me move my camera down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was no avoiding that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I want to point out that this song is entirely down to my wife. She made a comment about 40 years ago or so. We were listening to some country song, I suspect it was, and the person expressed their undying love for old time that would, outlast Gibraltar, and one of those kind of songs. And she turned to me and she said, I really wonder if people feel like they can hold themselves to that standard, these love songs. A little more realism might actually be more effective on that. And that has, quite frankly, been sitting around stewing in my brain for a very long time. And the other day, this came out. Maybe we would be better if we were out to sea. We could watch the waves and just be you and me, shining down to red sunset, floating free. Might be better out to sea. Shut the engine down and drift beneath the sky, watching the horizon line just you and I. Maybe tumble overboard when noon is hot and dry. Time where we need not ask why. Never question why the clouds swing slow, passing overhead, however it is that they may go. Turn blind. Overhead the tern and gulls and pelicans plunge and dive. All of us just here being alive. Night will bring her panoply of stars on high. Not a point in counting them, don't even try. The sable sheet they are hung upon rolls them by. We name the constellations until we tire and sigh. Never think of going back to land. Sea and sky are what we understand. Floating on this moment, riding waves of bliss and time. It exists but to bring us to this. Oh, maybe we would be better if we were out to sea. We could watch the waves and just be you and me. Shining dawn to red sunset, floating free. Might be better out to sea. Might be better, or we might be better. I think we would be better out to sea.
Very mellow.
Yeah.
And of course, I gave the introduction to that song incorrectly. The second song here is the one that I introduced from that idea. That one was just for my wife because, well, I'm awfully fond of her. Anyway, here we go. I'll bring up the lyrics for this one here, and this one is the one that answers to my wife's comment. Well, I hear your love, the sentiment, so beautifully rhymed and so well meant, with a melody so sweet and strong. But can you live up to your love song? Can you live up to the words you sing? Can you keep all those pretty promises you bring? Can you live them out for a whole life long? Can you live up to your love song? Everybody likes to hear of a love for all time, one lasting every mountain in a joy sublime. Happiness where nothing goes wrong. But can you live up to your love song? Try as we might, the world steps in and everybody slips, everybody sins. We hope to keep love perfect all along, but no one can live up to your love song. But with all this said, it's still worth a try. Keep returning to your love till the day you die. Hold your heart out to whom you belong. Live up over and over to your love song. Live up each next moment to your love song. Live up to your love song.
Wow, I love that song.
Let's see here. Dave is, I think, gonna need to unmute Dave. Capo Dave, you need to unmute, man. Oh, actually, yeah.
Muted again. Okay, wonderful songs, Mike.
Thank you.
I want to share with the folks that Mike wrote those songs today.
No, not. They weren't that recent. Sorry, it's been almost a week. They're really old.
Well, there's nothing to that, right? Anyway, I've known Mike for some years, and he's a prolific songwriter and very skilled fingerstyle player. But I want to ask you, Mike, how your guitar style evolved when you started playing. What approach were you taking then? And I want you to take us through your evolution to where you got to the point where you can, to control these arch tops, which tend to be clangy. I use that word like it is a word, but to be able to control that, it takes a great deal of skill. People don't realize that that's the thing about an arch top. All well and good when you're playing a blistering note run, because that's what they do well, but to control it in the finger style takes a lot of skill. So take us through your styles when you started playing, how are you playing, and how it evolved, and how you came to the love of these arch tops and tailpiece guitars.
Okay, so I started out with Kingston Trio. My first public performance on the guitar was "Let Me Tell You a Story of a Man Named Charlie." That song on the stage at my church in a talent show. That was the first time I ever did that, and I started with them. I was a big admirer of the stuff that sounded to me like where I really got my start musically. I was early on. I was a cellist, but where I really got my start was on the porch. Living in Kansas and playing with people where I was 5, and they gave me a banjo that was tuned to G, and I just strummed without finger, and then I'd put it up here at the 5th fret to get a C, and then at 7th, that's how I started. And I suppose my technique has evolved somewhat since then, but not all that much. And then probably the next huge step for me was Simon and Garfunkel. I admired Paul Simon's fingerstyle stuff, so I went around looking for people who could teach, and everybody who was a teacher that I could find easily wanted to teach me a flat pick and play rock and roll. So I learned to do that a little bit. But then when I was, we moved here to Northern California, I would have been about 11 years old, and I was up in San Francisco. And my parents believed in the benevolent neglect system of child raising, and so they would let me wander around. It was a different time then. They would let me wander around by myself. And so I went around, and I was in Chinatown near the Grant Street gate, and I heard this music coming out of the Chinese Christian church that was there. And they were having an open celebration of blues music there. And there was a gentleman that was playing named Reverend Gary Davis.
Oh boy!
And so I went up to him, and I said, do you by any chance take students? He said, well, yeah, I take some, you know. And he said, where do you live? And I said, down like in San Jose. And he said, but he says, if you're going to be here for the rest of the day, I don't have anything to do between now and the next concert. So if you want to sit around and watch me play, I've got another guitar here. You can play that. And over the next 4 hours, I kind of learned the whole drop thumb thing and a couple of blues licks and that kind of thing. And then bought every album he played on and did that kind of thing. So that was where that came from. Probably the next biggest step after that, and shortly after that, was my parents' record collection. I went through that, and I found a couple of 3 albums by a guy named Antonio Carlos Jobim. And I should be fair and say that my very first guitar that I had access to, the guitar on which I originally learned a long time back, was an archtop. It was a thing called a Super 400 by Gibson. It was a 1934 Super 400. So I had a fondness for the sound of those instruments there. But the first archtop that I purchased, or was purchased for me by my parents, was Mexican made. A little village out of Mexico that a lot of them make guitars, and they make one kind of guitar, you know, one deal. And this place made guitars that were very much like very bad copies of what you make. They were induced arch, thin topped. That the guitar, I strung it up to concert pitch, not knowing any better, and it lasted about 2 years, and then it just sort of exploded inward. But it gave me a chance to continue my affection for that kind of stuff. So I started to learn bossa nova stuff, and I played a little bit of bossa nova. And then somewhere in there I started songwriting, and originally all of my songwriting was Christian folk music. Originally it was what I wrote. And then eventually I spread out, you know, what I was doing. And in the last decade or so, I've begun to write quite a lot of stuff in the bossa nova and the jazz thing. In between there, I played in jazz bands, and so I played on. I played for a number of years on a semi-hollow body 347 Gibson, you know, which is kind of an archtop. The neck's like an archtop neck, you know, that kind of thing. And now I have, well, I have several of them. Those two are two of my favorites there, and like I say, I really enjoy the archtop stuff. I play other guitars as much as I play them. I'm a big Martin fan, and you know, Gibson Working Man J45s and things like that. But I just find them inspiring to write on, because Dave's guitars have these qualities too. You can play them in this fashion, you know, the chomp as they call it, and you can get through any jazz standard doing that. But it's more fun if you finger pick it, you know, and you can play some melody lines in there and that kind of stuff too. Anyway, long-winded, but I hope that answers the question adequately.
Thank you for that, Mike. That
Sure.
was you know, I didn't know all those things, particularly the part about Reverend Gary Davis.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was quite a stroke of luck to spend some time with that fellow.
Yeah, he was one of my 2 big strokes of luck. The other one, I was in a famous guitar store down in Southern California where we lived for a while, and I was going around and I was asking the people at the guitar stores, there's this song I want to learn called Wildwood Flower. I said, do you have any teacher here where I could pay him for just one lesson and learn Wildwood Flower? And they said, well, not really available right now, but you see that guy over in the corner over there where the Martins are hanging? I said, yes. They said, the older gentleman, and I said, yes. And they said, you should go ask him to show you how to play it. He'll show you how to play it. I said, the blind guy? And they said, yes, go over and ask him to teach you how to play it. And of course, it turned out that was Doc Watson, who was there in that guitar store. And so he taught me how to play Wildwood Flower with a flat pick.
Wow, wonderful story.
Yeah. You just
Okay,
got to get
well,
lucky sometime.
Yeah, those were two strokes of luck.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Mike, and thanks for handling the interview. And I'm going to
Oh,
get you back interviewing here in a bit.
yeah.
And but I'm going to introduce right now. I've got to get my head straight around this. Back to the gallery view. Okay. Next up is Glenn Mershell. And Glenn, I'm going to spotlight you. Okay. That's,
Good evening, everyone.
wait a minute. This is not right. Gallery. I need
Good evening,
to,
everyone. Great performers tonight. I'd like to do, well, since it's close to Halloween, a couple of original musics based on vampires. So this first one is called Sometimes Frustrated. They don't believe I'm real. Soon they'll feel the way I feel. I've lived 200 years and more. Now it's time to even the score. The blood is the way, the life, the all. Above all else, all great and small. See us fly, see us live, hear our song. Our way's the life, all else is wrong. But you know, your former life means nothing now. And you know, you'll live forever with us now. Creatures of the night, the darkness makes us so alive. High over the sea, see the source upon which we thrive. Join us now, be as one, children of the grave. Soon you feel, soon you know the world's your slave. Walk the night, sleep the day, oh soon the time. Nothing can hurt us in our shrines. But you know, still wish I could see the day, feel the warmth of the sun. As I ride the ocean waves, but that's all over now. Now I know the day no more, the night time is my life. It's the only thing worth living for. Let us rise, let us rise, let us rise, let us rise, let us rise. You. Well, that was off my latest album. That was called Sometimes Frustrated. This next one is about a vampire who travels the world. I got to get more with it and write songs about zombies, you know, but it's a little old school vampire stuff. So this one's called Dance in the Garden. It's off my second album. Love me on the beach in the setting sun. Love me on the beach. The sand was my feet. Let's fly, let's run. The ocean sings majestic songs. Because I love you, my love for you is strong, so strong. Dance in the garden on a warm English night. Love me on the beach in the Cairo light. Dance in the garden, see the Paris side. Love me on the beach in the dark LA night. In the dark, dance in the garden. Oriental whispers in my ear. Dance in the garden. Asian secrets ever near. Middle Eastern treasures in Tangier. All eternal night, always love, never fear, never fear. Dance in the garden on a warm Irish night. Love me on the beach in Sri Lankan light. Dance in the garden on a Jakarta night. Love me on the beach in the Miami night. Thank you. Thank you very much. I figured we're close to Halloween, so what the hell, you know?
Yes, we're always close to Halloween. Glenn Michelle,
Yes.
your the website. I got on there, and one of the questions you sort of are already you already answered. I think you have an album called The Vampire.
No. Those are just a
just
couple
a collection of
songs
songs
that I
in
threw
that
in there, yeah.
in that Irv. Okay, all right. When will it be an album?
I don't know. I have those on records already, online. But yeah, I like different types of music, horror music, and minor key stuff, and
Yeah. Well, the thing that not just from the vampire stuff, but because those recordings are just you and the guitar, it really jumped out. You have a very creative, very dynamic way that you use the 12 string. I've played 12 strings. They are not easy to get the kind of stuff out of that you're getting out of it. The first song was, one kind of a thing, and the second one there is just, 12 string rock and roll. That reminded me a lot of some of the better work by people like Steve Stills and Dave Crosby, on the 12
yeah,
string.
they were big on 12 strings, man. Martin's.
Yeah, very very nice stuff. Influences? Uh,
Well, a lot of people really. I mean, I kind of grew up with the Beatles, and my mom had this record, the number one hits of the '60s, and I tried to pick out everything from that: the Turtles, the Monkees, the Birds, and all the animal bands. But as I got older, in high school, it was more like Rush, Zeppelin, Floyd, Yes, Genesis, King Crimson, and now I listen to different things, Southern rock and jazz and blues. And yeah, when are you going to give jazz lessons? How about that first song from Mike? Let's give him a hand. So, both of them were awesome.
yeah, I, I have one set of lessons that I teach pretty regularly at some of like the San Francisco Free Folk Festival and things like that. I teach lessons there on the movable chord shapes.
Yeah.
It's a good place to get into, a good open door for jazz kind of stuff, and I'm sure you know them all already. But the other thing is that I noticed your lyrics, even when you're not pointing to it, when you're not spotlighting it, you are a funny guy. You have a sense of humor. There's no question. Your writing it reveals it, right?
That's watching every Three Stooges episode there ever
There you go.
was created.
Yes.
So I recommend it to everybody.
Get two 12 strings and bang their heads together. Yeah. The other thing that reveals it, guys, go on Glenn Merschel's website, because there's an image on there that is just priceless for anyone who went through COVID. He has a roll of toilet paper sitting on a stool next to himself playing, and it says, by the way, what was the cat's name?
Fluff.
Fluff. That you had to trade for the toilet paper. I had to trade my cat.
That was my wife's idea.
Oh, okay. So she's got the sense of humor.
Yes, she's creative. Yes,
That's great.
more so than myself.
Aren't wives wonderful? Anyway, the work with the 12 string, that both of those things. There's that part in the middle where you play the little solo line in the first song, and for a moment there I thought, wow, it's like he can sort of import an oud. It sounds like the Turkish, or Middle Eastern instrument, the oud, a double-strung instrument. That's
And then on my record, I have some keyboard, choir kind of stuff, I think, in the background. I like Middle Eastern music as well. That's stuff like that.
It was a nice little moment in there. Well, now, where are you? You've been on here before?
Yeah, I think it's my 6th or 7th time.
6th or 7th? Yeah, I was pretty sure I remembered you from before with your amazing 12-stringedness. All right, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Great job, everybody. I loved everybody, and looking forward to the rest of the show. Great job.
Yeah, a privilege to have you, and we'll see you back here, I'm sure. All right.
God bless. Thank you.
Okay, yes. I'm going to mute now, and Capo Dave, turn it to you.
Thanks, Mike. Wonderful work, Glenn. Wonderful work, Glenn. That 12 string, man, that's quite an impressive display of strength to control that thing. I've got a 12 string in my closet that I thought I wanted to play, and well, I guess maybe the mice are playing it. I don't know what, but
keep
anyway.
playing them. Don't be intimidated by them. Keep playing them. Even if you just horse around, just horse around.
Well, it's you can play it one way, and you can really play it the way you play it, and you get a lot out of it, and it sounds great.
Thank you.
All right, and next up from Portland, Oregon, is our own Matt Meehan. Matt, I need to say it is a local legend. When I came to Portland and went to some open mics and sat down and Matt Meehan started to play, it was like, oh, this guy, wow. And everybody knows him locally. He's hosted many open mics for many years, and he also conducts an online class, songwriting class, which is truth-telling in songwriting. And I've heard many a songwriter who signed up from this who came away saying, wow, I really broke loose the log jam with Matt's help. So without further ado, I'm going to unmute him and put him in the spotlight. And It's all you, Matt.
Thanks, Dave. I'm going to play a song, start with a song that I played here about a year ago, I think, but it seemed like a good one for tonight. I don't know, but I've been told streets in heaven are paved with gold. Here below, life swims in seas, crawls in dirt, and sails the breeze. And oh, the trees are green. And every step on sacred ground fills the ear with sacred sound. Sparrow song, leopard frog, dragonfly, prairie dog, raven call, linden tree, hummingbird, mason bee, trumpet vine, swallowtail, maidenhair, morel snail, porcupine, red-winged rail, otter, salamander, whale, morning glory, water strider, armadillo, red-eared slider, wax-winged dolphin, lichen, squid, cottonmouth, katydid. How they sing. Of all the creatures earth is made, there is but one who turns away to gaze above with longing sighs when heaven is right before our eyes. At the cry of Gabriel's horn, long lost child of nature born, returning home will take their place among the family of grace. Sparrow song, leopard frog, dragonfly, prairie dog, raven call, linden tree, hummingbird, mason bee, trumpet vine, swallowtail, maidenhair, morel snail, porcupine, red-winged rail, otter, salamander, whale, morning glory, water strider, armadillo, red-eared slider, wax-winged dolphin, lichen, squid, cottonmouth, katydid, and oh, the trees so green. Very much. I got a relatively new one that I haven't played here before. It's called Far As I Go. Laid my burden down. I laid my burden down. Took off my clothes, dropped them on the ground. I laid my burden down. Over where the river flows, over where the river flows, slipped into the water and I let go. Over where the river flows. In this world we're not alone. Each breath we take is our home. Praise be to the trees that gift the air we breathe. We're not alone. This is far as I go. Here is as far as I go. This is me. There's nowhere else to be. Far as I go. In this world we're not alone. Each breath we take is our home. Praise be to the trees that gift this breath to me. We're not alone. Laid my burden down. laid my burden down, climbed out of the water, stretched out on the ground, laid my burden down, climbed out of the water, and stretched out on the ground. I laid my burden down.
Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful.
All right, Matt Man. The truth and nothing but the truth. Truth telling and songwriting. That's been your theme for going on 40 years now, I think, something like
Yeah.
that. Yep. What are the way I'm thinking of it, the qualities and elements in terms of doing that? And can you give us some examples that pop up for you from your songs as you did tonight?
Yeah, so my idea, you know, I guess the way I come at songwriting and what I encourage people to do when they take my workshops is to let the song say what it wants to say rather than something that I want to say. So to me, when I go approach it writing, it's an exploration and discovery. Like the song is going to speak, and I'm going to participate as best I can to give it a voice in the world. So I think, you know, for me, truth doesn't mean, like the truth telling part doesn't mean sticking to facts or anything like that, but it just means expressing something that you genuinely feel in the way that you feel it. So musically and verbally. And I think it's sort of like if you're talking to a close friend, the difference between telling them what you think they want you to say or telling them how you really feel. And I think because we get caught up in like, we're social beings, we want to impress other people, we want people to like us, and, you know, we want success and all that. It's easy to distort what's coming through us by thinking too much about how other people are going to respond. Of course, we don't actually know how they're going to respond, but we can imagine how we fear they respond or hope they respond. And we create this whole movie in our head about how other people are reacting to the song even before it's even written. And of course, that movie never actually happens. Once the song's done, we'll play it for somebody and they'll have some response, but it won't be what happened in our imagination while we were writing. So I think it's really, the truth-telling part is just to set all that aside and just speak from your heart, however you're moved. And that might be deep, it might be funny, it might be silly, you know, it could be anything. And so that's pretty much how I come at songwriting. So that song I just played, for example, I always start kind of just noodling around with music, and then the line came to me, I laid my burden down. And I have some associations with that and how that meant. So I sang it a couple of times. And then the line, I took off my clothes, came up. And that was not anything I anticipated. And I was sort of like, you know, there was part of me that I would have maybe indulged in the past of like, oh, wait, I don't want the person taking off their clothes. But, you know, now I've got this character naked and I have no idea what's going to happen. But I've learned to just trust that the song has a story. And, you know, when I had the idea of going to the river, I was thinking of putting my hand in the river. But as I was writing it, I realized, well, I'm here at the water's edge and I'm naked, I might as well get in. And I honestly had no idea whether the person was going to die. I didn't know if they were going to come out of the water. I had no idea what was going to happen. So that, to me, is, you know, treating a song as a discovery and letting it speak and letting it, as much as I can, use my own voice musically and verbally and singing wise rather than trying to sound like somebody else. Um, and then not judge the result is a big
Say
part.
that again.
Not judging the result is
Yeah.
a big part of it. I
Say
mean, I
that
may
again.
like something, I may not like something. People may respond to it and they may not respond to it. I might finish something and go, okay, well, I'm never going to play that for anyone. But I try not to think, well, I shouldn't have written it unless it's good, because that limits you too much. I think you need to write all the songs, even
Yeah.
the bad ones.
You seem to have a good, gentle way of stifling that inner critic. That's a very cool thing. By the way, I had not, to my memory, I hadn't heard a song that I found on the website there. He's got a couple of albums, and it's worth the trip to www.mattmeehan.com. You can experience some of what I'm talking about here for yourself if you go there. The song "Long Way Round." I don't really want to go into how it was written and stuff, although I'm sure it'd be interesting. But I just wanted to say I really like that song. That's a very cool song, and it's there on that website. What I do want to talk to you a little bit about is kind of an extension from songwriting to another part of the musical work that you do. When you're putting an album together, can you talk a little bit about your standards and practices, first for inclusion, what songs get to go on an album, and secondly, even more, for how you order them on the album? The notion of an album was a thing that entranced me and mystified me and gave me joy when I was a young fella, and I feel like it's almost a dying art, And so, for example, on that one album, you have "May God Bless America," which is a dark song. It is bitter. And then you chose to follow it with "Last Night I had the strangest dream." So it's like, despair followed by hope. So how do you make that work? How does that happen?
That's a beautiful subject. I love that people are making vinyl now, because they're, that art of putting together a set of music, is still being practiced. But so many songs are just released individually. I have to admit, I haven't put out a CD for about 10 years, so I should probably talk about how I put a set together, because to me it's the same.
Yes,
It's
very
the
similar.
same approach. I'm remiss in getting songs recorded, but I feel like you're taking people on a journey, and so you have to think about where people are, at the end of a song, and then where do you want to go next? And for me, that I always want to have an arc where the start is welcoming, and probably a little easier, more accessible, easy for people to relate to and enjoy, and also makes people feel welcome. And then I want to end in a place that's positive and feels like completion. And then anywhere I'm going to put a song that's a little heavier or darker, like you said, I give a lot of thought about what can come next. I remember very early on, I did a set where I played some really emotionally touching song. And it was, people were with me. I mean, it was probably in a coffee shop with 10 people or something, but, people were in it with me. And then I was sort of uncomfortable, and also I wasn't very experienced, so I followed it up with a funny song. And I experienced how people sort of recoiled. And then when I tried to play a serious song again, they didn't go with me, because, I'd given them whiplash. And so they weren't prepared to open themselves emotionally if I was going to turn it into a joke. So I still want to play the funny song, but I realized, well, there has to be some transition in there, have to work your way back to that being light. You can't just jump. So I don't know, it's really a feel thing. When I plan a set, I give that a lot of thought, and I try different things, and then I'll sit down and just play like the beginning and the end of each song and just feel, how does this musically but also emotionally, how does it flow? And so there's some kind of arc through the whole thing, where you start in a place and you end in a place where people are ready to go do something else, the next performer, or leave the venue or whatever.
Great, good advice. Thank you very much, Matt Meehan. You will treat yourself if he and everybody else here who has a website. If you go on their website and look up their stuff and see their music, you'll enrich and add value to the experience you just had. So, Matt, thank you. I know you'll be back. Not even gonna mention it. Oh yes, I did.
Well, I really love getting to participate in this, and hearing everyone tonight, it's been really, really inspiring, and I'm grateful to be here. So.
Yeah, well, Capo Dave Williams is doing a great work here. It's and all the rest of us staffers, including you. All right, so I'm going to hand it back to Dave. Thank you again, Matt.
Thanks, Mike, and thank you, Matt. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Let's see here. I think I've removed all spotlights. Okay, I think I have. I keep getting caught in my switches here, doing this engineering and hosting at the same time. Okay, next up, we're going to have a little rock and roll here. Black Door 74, that's Rigo Rodriguez and Rodman King. They've been on our show several times. We love what they do, and we're going to spotlight them. They're spotlit, and they are unmuted. So guys, rock us home.
Thanks for having us back. It's so good to be with you all. We're going to do a couple of originals. This first song is called Rhodomontade. It's one of the songs that Rod wrote for the band. Another road without a guide, and say you'd better pray a better day will come your way. And would you change places in time with mine? Climb outside your mind, along the line to the sublime, and dream a subtle seam, another truth behind a scheme. And would you change places in time with mine? And you will know what you must be, and mend as you ascend another path without an end. And would you change places in time
Hey, Rodman. Can we have a little more bass?
A little more bass?
Yeah, yeah. Something happened. It went more bass. It went well behind. I don't know if maybe you changed the tone on it so you lost the higher tone. Let me hear it now. That's better. Okay, thank you.
We're going to do one more original for you. This one's called 74 Million. Regimes will rise and fall in the big house game. The writing on the wall somehow stays the same. An army of misled hordes assembled by vampiric lords rule through propaganda screens, out to win by any means. 74 million hands raised against equal rights demands. 74 million cast in favor of an awful past. The ruins of history, a storm of wreckage, and still those who struggle to be free find a trail of burned bridges. An army driven by greed that stands unmoved when we bleed, who lobby down truths everyone knows, so long as the money flows. 74 million hands raised against equal rights demands. 74 million cast in favor of an awful past.
I have to go longer because I started late. I forgot to unmute. Very nice. Gentlemen, I will once again out you as scholars, both of them, and people involved in very, very valuable educational enterprises. I gotta say, I'm digging, you know, the combination of power chords and social justice. It's right there. It's cool. It reminds me of getting us back, you know, to the garden, and you know, some of the early stuff when the Folkies started playing some rock and roll. You know, you've got your hands on it, but you're on beyond that because you've got other things going on. For example, if you go on their website, there's a lot of Latin there, you know, and I looked at it, and since I have a passing familiarity with that, I looked up and I thought, ad urbe condita, I mean, from the founding of the city, you know, what's up with that? And Rota Fortuna, isn't that a game show, you know, Wheel of Fortune? That kind of thing. Like, I listened to the lyrics for Rota Fortuna and talking about how, you know, there are things beyond you that you can't, you know, control. Where's your alia jacta est? You know, you have to the die is cast. Caesar's fame. Let's go get that in there too. You know, but anyway, I keep being struck by an impression each time I hear you that you guys are involved in a conspiracy, a subversive attempt to bring intellectual power into, and as Matt says, truth telling into metal and rock and roll. Have I got you?
Guilty.
Guilty, yeah, and successful, So, what do you do? What do you do in your songwriting? Now, you guys have a lot of input into each other's writing, right?
We write a lot together, and we also write songs individually. It just depends. The thing that we definitely always do together is the arrangements. We come up with the music. But like Radamonte, that first song we played, Rod wrote all the lyrics to that and then brought it to me, and I came up with a guitar part for it. I thought he had a really cool bass lick. I loved the hook for it. It had both a lyrical hook and a bass hook, and I thought, man, we can't drown that out. We gotta go jazz with it and use the guitar minimally as a kind of a call and response. So that's what we went for there. But all the lyrics for that song came from you.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things where you kind of hope people will look Radamonte up, because I think many people might not know what it means. I think I do. Would you like to give us a definition of that? You need to speak up. I'm not hearing you.
Is that better? Okay.
Much better.
All right. So it has an actual word in the English dictionary, so I'm going to leave some mystery out there. But the song, just to be brief, you could have this kind of the existential grass is greener on the other side kind of view. And that might come from a sort of arrogance, and if you kind of reflect on it, you maybe are in the time and place that you are for a good reason. So that's the essence of the song.
All right. Very cool. So are you guys by any chance Tull fans, Jethro Tull fans?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we have a lot of sort of varied. We were talking about this today. We were eating before the doors opened for Open Mic America. We're just talking about a bunch of stuff, and we have very, I guess eclectic might be, not to be, to overuse the word, but very eclectic musical tastes. So, yeah, definitely Jethro Tull, Marillion for me, Rush, The Who, Stanley Clarke, John Coltrane, Leo Kottke. I don't know, Vigo, you've got it.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of overlaps, but I also listen to I love hip-hop wordplay. I study that. I listen to some old country. I mean, what I listen to most is, rock stuff, but we both study music theory too, and, listen to classical music and a lot of jazz, because the jazz musicians are off the charts. But yeah, I mean, I think we try to infuse all of that into what we're producing.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly must say that what you are giving us lives up to that.
Thank you so
beautifully.
much.
Thank you. And it's a pleasure for us to be here. I think this is what our fourth time maybe. And every the other artists are fantastic, and it is always a good time. Open Mic America. So thank you for having us.
You all run a great ship.
Well, we're very glad to have you. I'm sure Dave will echo that. And we'll be very glad when you come back. Thanks a lot. I'm going to turn it back over to Dave here.
Thank you, Mike, and thanks, Rigo and Rod. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful. Well, folks, that about wraps her up for another Open Mic America show. I'm going to thank all the musicians one at a time here. Thanks to Vernon Tonjes from Detroit, Michigan, to John Loretz from Burlington, Massachusetts, the Hewitt Family Band from Brookhaven, Mississippi, Ron Smith from Jefferson City, Missouri, Bill Hernandez from Portland, Oregon. Mike Simpson from Saratoga, California, also was our interview host tonight. Glenn Mershell from Monroe, North Carolina. Matt Meehan from right here in Portland, where I am, and Rigo Rodriguez and Rodman King from Amherst, Massachusetts. Wonderful work tonight, folks. And thanks so much again, Mike, for doing double duty tonight. And I'm going to go through my list here, what I'm supposed to be talking about. Of course, thank you in the audience, those watching live and those who will watch in the future. All our shows are recorded, and you can go to our website. You can access all the performers that have ever been on the show and access all the shows they were in, as well as their own website. That's quite a resource. And also on our website is the page that lists the local open mics. We've been harvesting these open mics from folks all the way along. And while I think about it, folks, I didn't do that tonight. Get those from you, your favorite open mic. So in an email tomorrow, I'm going to ask you about that, and you can send me a link to it, because people go on our website. We have a list about this long of all some of the best open mics in America. So audience has been using that resource. You can download and print posters from our site, our logo, and you can get a t-shirt through our site. And we're here the first 3 Sundays of every month. The next show is September 17th. And so that about wraps her up. We're going to mute everybody. And
Just before you mute us all, the other person that needs to be thanked is the tireless Capo Dave Williams, the man behind all of this, and our technical and primary host for tonight. He also was juggling 2 balls at the same time with one hand. And Capo Dave, thank you so much for what you do.
Thanks a lot. I have a lot of trouble juggling 1 ball these days, believe me. So I'm going to mute everybody, and we're going to all remain muted. And I'm going to be the last one to speak.
If you meet me at the corner of Russell and Albina, just about a block from Mississippi Avenue, I'll take you to a house where they hang carpets on the wall. And if we go there on a Sunday, there's a song I'll take you through.